BYD have just revealed the price of the Seagull in Europe, and they've confirmed all these fake stories, which people have just been making up. I find this irritating. They've confirmed that actually, through luck, they're actually true. The Seagull will probably be the cheapest electric car you can buy in Europe next year. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. It's great to see you. And there's a few big headlines, guys, saying the BYD Seagull is going to be sold in Europe. It's going to be the cheapest car in the UK. Now, the BYD Seagull is not coming to the UK. I just want to confirm that. The story is not actually true. There is no proof whatsoever that the Seagull is coming to the UK. There's no right-hand drive production, guys. Not being made in right-hand drive, then whatever Electric tells you, doesn't matter what they say, it's not coming. Until BYD decide to make it in right-hand drive. They've not done that yet. The BYD Seagull is manufactured, of course, in left-hand drive, and all European countries outside of the UK, they're all left-hand drive countries, so it makes sense for the Seagull to go there. BYD will actually, they're saying, they already have one factory in Hungary, and that's going really well, but they're saying they're going to build a second factory as well. The European Managing Director said that, confirmed that news on Thursday. Speaking at the FT's Future of the Car conference, Xu said that BYD will bring a low-cost electric vehicle based on its Chinese Seagull model to Europe, but it will not be the Chinese Seagull that you have seen. So the BYD Seagull, as it currently exists today, will not be the car sold in Europe. It's similar with the BYD Dolphin. You cannot buy the international BYD Dolphin in China. It does not exist in China. You can buy it in Southeast Asia, but not in China, because it's different. It's smaller. The battery pack's smaller. There's a few little changes like that, but overall, the global BYD Dolphin is bigger. Now, that is exactly what BYD will do with the Seagull. They'll make it bigger, and they think that that will appeal to a wider audience. Now, I think that's a weird decision. I think it would make the car more expensive, and it will. I mean, the Dolphin is a lot more expensive outside of China than it is in China. Now, of course, part of that is because of BYD's decision to sell at a higher price, but it's also partly because the cost of manufacturing the vehicle is higher. Obviously, if you have an exclusive one-off production line making different vehicles to the big production line in China, the cost of manufacturing each unit is going to increase. That's what will happen with the Seagull. So even though the Seagull should cost less than 20,000 euros in Europe, making it one of the cheapest EVs, if not the cheapest, by the time it arrives, it's still going to be a lot more expensive than the $10,000 that it costs in China. $10,000. I'm going to guess it might come in at about $18,000 or 18,000 euros in Europe. That wouldn't make it the cheapest. The cheapest EV is the Dacia Spring. Anyway, EVs are on average around 30 to 50% more expensive in Europe than they are in China. And on average in Europe, they're 30% more expensive than internal combustion engine vehicles. Now, that's not the case anymore in places like Australia and America, but it is in Europe. And if you have a look at the prices there, it's true. The Tesla Model Y, for example, it's 45,000 euros, the cheapest version. Obviously, the Model Y is cheaper than that in America, and even in Australia, it's cheaper than that as well. So what this means is because EVs are a bit more expensive, well, actually, on average, 30% more expensive than internal combustion in Europe, automakers are trying to bring in cheaper cars. Leapmotor, they will be sold in China by Stellantis. So Stellantis now own a percentage of Leapmotor, and they're going to sell, rather than actually trying to make their own cheap EVs, very good decision here from Stellantis, in my opinion. They're just going to sell Leapmotor in Europe. And to be honest, Leapmotor vehicles are probably the best value vehicles in China. I don't know how they still exist. They obviously lose money every single year. But anyway, they're really good value. I've actually reviewed quite a few of their vehicles over the years, and I've always said, how are they so cheap? It's crazy. Anyway, the BYD executive said he wanted to become a leading EV maker in Europe by 2030, and they plan on overtaking Tesla in EV sales in Europe. They're saying they want to triple their EV sales in Europe by this time next year. And that's entirely possible. BYD could do that if they sold at a more affordable price. Let's say if they price their vehicles at a similar price to what they cost in Australia, then I think they absolutely could do that. But at this point in time, BYD is a barely relevant company in Europe. There's a lot of talk about them. they barely sell any cars. Very, very small numbers. In fact, MG annihilates them in Europe because one, their cars are a little bit more expensive than MG, for example. And two, people are still a bit tentative with a brand that they don't really know about. We are confident we could be in a leading position, he said, and overtake Tesla, taking the #1 EV sales market share in Europe. Now, could BYD do that? Yeah, of course, absolutely, they could do it. Will it happen? Well, I don't know. It'd be interesting. I think probably it will, though, to be honest. BYD said last December it would build an EV plant in Hungary, becoming the first major Chinese automaker with a production base in Europe. And BYD Xu spoke as Chinese President Xi Jinping visited Hungary on the third and final stop of his European tour. Hungary, under right-leaning Prime Minister Viktor Orban, has become an important trade and investment partner for China in contrast with some other European nations. Warm political relations have turned into investments as Chinese battery and electric vehicle makers have begun setting up production in the country. So this is going to give China a way to get into Europe and to sell to Europeans, basically get around any taxes or any penalties put onto Chinese products. EV battery maker CATL has been among the biggest investors with 7.3 billion euros in their battery plant in Debrecen. That's a massive factory, $7.3 billion factory, and that'll make probably CATL become the dominant battery supplier in Europe. Now, I know it's been reported by companies like Auto Express that the BYD Seagull is coming to the UK next year. But the truth is, even though Auto Express, this is a headline from them, they said the Seagull will come to the UK in 2025. But that's not even what BYD told them. BYD even said to them in their comment, okay, UK says to BYD, are you going to bring the Seagull here? BYD says, we'll bring it to Europe. UK says, BYD Seagull is going to be sold in Europe. It's got to be sold in the UK. And BYD's like, what? We never said that. We said we're going to sell it in Europe. Guys, different car market. As far as I know, Seagull is not coming to the UK. Just confirming that for you guys who are holding out for a cheap EV. It won't be this one. Shop for something else. Thanks for watching.